Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your girl, Sherelle, and I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show. I want to thank you guys for joining us this Tuesday like you do every Tuesday. We got a great show in store for you. Whew. But most importantly, I want to apologize to our audience for having such a late start. Instagram live locked me out per usual. This is the umpteenth time this has happened. But don't worry, without further ado, we are going to get started. I'm going to let everyone join in, and then we are going to get started, you guys. Whew. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to let everything load up. Okay, so let everybody come in for a moment. Okay, I see everybody coming in. Okay, I see everybody coming in. Okay, so we're going to start every show off like usual. I got to give you guys something that I am grateful for. I would like to say today, I'm grateful for the mind to still push through technical difficulties. So I'm really grateful for that. But let's get started. Let's get tonight's special guest on here, you guys. Yeah, let's get that taken care of. So let's get him on here. Demetrius, if you've joined, I can't see yet. I'm gonna come take a look. But if you've joined, go ahead and send a request, and then we're gonna get you on. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Let's get you on. Let me see. Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Going good. I'm fine. I'm doing really well.
Good. I'm so excited to have you today. How are you? How's your day been?
The day's been good. I'm in Chicago now,
Yeah.
and it's been super rainy, but I assume that you are probably getting it in Detroit too.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
gonna be getting this soon. This is on the
yeah, I
way.
was gonna say.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm so excited to have you today. You are probably one of our most dynamic guests so far this season.
Okay.
But I really am excited to have you because there's so many different aspects to who you are and the things you've accomplished. So I'm really excited for audience to hear like all the cool things about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, before ooh, wrong thing. All right, before we get started, um, I'm really big on being grateful for what we have. I feel like too often we get caught up on the things that we want or that we don't have, and we forget for what we do have. So you got to give the audience something that you're grateful for today.
Oh man, I have so much to be grateful for. Um, I feel like today I've been doing a lot of reflection, and I feel like I'm just grateful for diverse experiences. I think
Um,
the opportunity to be open-minded and experience many different things. I'm kind of grateful for the opportunities to being able to do that, but then also just having, that ability and blessings bestowed on me to experience so many different things in life. So, I think that I've had a pathway into doing like a lot of nice things. So I'm grateful
yeah.
for that. Yeah, I'm grateful for that always.
I like that. Okay, I think you made a really good point to be grateful for something because you've traveled quite a bit and you've sat at a lot of unique tables. Like, what is it like? I just want to ask this really quick. It's not even a part about what I'm going to be asking, but you went to something with the Brat. Was it like a BET creative? event or influencer event. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, so that was actually, I want to say that was the Culture Creators
There
Brunch.
you go.
Yeah, Culture Creator Brunch that took place in, was that LA? I think it was LA in the past couple months. So we did do that. Amazing, amazing room full of dynamic people. When you talk about like Black excellence and seeing that go on every single year and just, you know, paying homage to like so many people, it was cool to be in the room. So that's yeah, that's what that was. Both Brett and Judy was there, along with many, many other people. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good experience.
When you walk into these rooms, are you ever like, do you ever have a moment of like, wow, like I'm in rooms that I once dreamed of being? Do you ever get that feeling?
You know, yeah, I think going back to the gratefulness piece, it's usually kind of surreal.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of have like this life that we sometimes dream and we like think about like where
Mhm.
we want to be in the world and what place we want to hold in rooms. And you know, not always the loudest or the most boastful, but I do feel like I have a tremendous amount of just gratefulness that, you know, kind of comes out. Like I don't actually ever have like a imposter syndrome or like go in thinking like I don't belong.
Yeah.
So if anything, you know, it does kind of just reaffirm like who I am, what I am, and kind of what God has always known for me to be. So
Yeah.
I think I enter into it with that in mind, and that's kind of what, you know, I feel when I'm around those people.
I like that. Where do you get that? I know a lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome, but that's not something you struggle with. How did you build up that confidence and that certainty of yourself?
It was kind of bred, honestly. I feel like I was always molded to have
Yeah.
that full fulfilled feeling.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always was instilled those type of values. So imposter syndrome comes and it goes. I feel like, you know, being in the spaces that I've been in, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I've always had to be mindful of it, right? Of course, you have so many people bigger, so many people who are more experienced, so many people that comes from
Mm-hmm.
different pedigrees. That's very easy for you to fall into the trap of feeling like you don't belong at the table.
Yeah.
But like when you create that seat, you pull it up and you know that you're there. The
Yeah.
point where you're sitting is nobody that can tell you anything different. So I feel like
Absolutely.
I walk with that little, you know, confidence and keeping my head high and also that sense of belonging that not only I fight for and strive for every day, but so many people before us and giants we stand on, shoulders on, we you know, they want us to be at that table. So yeah.
Absolutely. Just listening to you talk, you carry such a strong sense of self, a level of confidence, but you also have so much respect for people that have come before you. Was that poured into you from like your grandparents, your parents? Like where did that like always wanting to pay homage to the people that came before you and honor them in everything that you do and in your walk in life? Where did that come from?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was always kind of built through legacy and
Yeah.
also the legacy of wanting to create legacy as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think when you pay homage to the people that, you know, came before you, it's like a must. Like it's something that has to be in place because in order for me to be here and sit here and even be privileged enough to share my experiences with you, there's so many, you know, contrary experiences that people fought and had to experience before me. So, you know, in order for me to sit truly in this place, like I always
Yeah.
feel like I have to at least give recognition. And you know, recognition alone sometimes isn't enough. You got to give back, lift as you
Yeah.
climb, do all those things. But like the very least, you got to recognize that, you
Absolutely.
know, you have to at least pay homage to the people before you because they made it through for us to be here right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. So it seems like service and excellence is intertwined into your very being. I know that those are some of the core values of Kappa Alpha Psi. What kind of stuck out to you outside of those core that made you say, you know what, I think this is the brotherhood I kind of want to join?
Ah man, you know, it's so funny because I kind of go I get you know, go back and forth. So, you know, obviously I'm a Michigan Noop. I went to school
Yeah,
there. I pledged there in Michigan. I was actually junior vice pole mark, so our
I
JVP
saw that.
of Michigan. So, you know, shout out to Detroit, shout out to Michigan and all my fellow Noops. Uh, you know, it was always something about being a part of something that's bigger than yourself,
Yeah.
that I kind of always, you know, yearned for. I think that's really what, you know, showed me the people that was on my campus, that was a part of the organization, and not only my organization, but also the other organizations there. When you're at a predominantly white institution, it's
Mhm.
really easy for you to try to find your community, your mode,
Yeah.
your people. And those were the ones who stood out and that became kind of my tribe, and also just, foster a self of not only community, but, confidence and comfortability. And I feel like, I strive to be like that. Like they pushed me to want to be better and want to be a part of something better. So that's when I knew like this is the organization, for me. And it honestly wasn't even through the lens of, how globally it's recognized, but more
Yeah.
so even just that chapter, those people, my profiles that were literally a part of the organization, before me, again, giving homage to them and just seeing like how they've kind of paved the way for so many things. I knew that that was like a community and an organization that I want to be a part of. So, yo, to the news, definitely, go hard for them all day.
I love it. I love it. I expected. I didn't know. I say you're the probably the most second lawyer, or you're the second lawyer I've ever spoken to outside of like anything else. But I'm really excited that you like to talk and that you want to have a conversation. Like I'm just so excited about this because some the hell, sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it's all good. It's so crazy though, because hearing that it makes me think about how many people would go through life, and you obviously think like I feel like I'm sitting in the seat of privilege of saying like, man, you think it's so many of us where it wouldn't be just only the second time you're speaking to a lawyer, but I hear
yeah,
so often that like people have never really been able to speak to a lawyer directly or see a lawyer in person other than on TV,
yeah.
and maybe not even know the different intricacies of what lawyering is outside of criminal defense, or maybe going to jail and being prosecuted. So it's always been a privilege for me to go into the schools even and try to be
Yeah,
representation. So yeah,
we're gonna talk about that. You know
for
what?
sure.
We gonna get into more of this. I was those questions were off the script. I got the script to go by. But I'm glad you said that because I definitely want to talk to you about. Actually, let's talk about that now. How did you get into law? Like, what inspired you to say I want to be a lawyer of all things? I'm sorry, attorney. Attorney.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I mean, yeah, I would joke and say that the people who know me best will say that I love to argue. So I feel like the Dolph song, you like to argue, so you since
That's
law school, whatever the lyrics
it.
is.
Okay. What do you
No,
say?
I would say growing up, you always, think about the things that you could see yourself being. And for me, again, going back to wanting to be a part of a legacy
Yeah.
and have like something that was not only, admired, but also a representation for so many others.
Yeah.
Um, I try to figure out what was a prestigious, type of career that I can go into, and doctors being one, lawyers being others, educators being some.
Absolutely.
And almost thought I wanted to be a doctor. And I always say if I could do it again and go the medical route, I would be a dentist. A lot of people sleep on
Ah.
dentists.
Okay.
And I love teeth, but um, I feel like, once I knew I didn't want to be a doctor, I realized I didn't like blood. I didn't like, bodily fluids and things of such. I was like, law is going to be it. Law is what I have to do. So I went to undergrad. I was an econ major. Who knows what people do with econ majors
I don't
after
know.
school?
I don't.
But the cool thing about law school and going to be a lawyer, you can study anything in college. Like you can major in any type of, program, educational program that you want to do. A lot of people go for political science. A lot of
Yeah.
people go for philosophy. A lot of people go for history. I went for econ. I knew that I had a business acumen outside of, my interest in law. And that set me up to want to study business law and, figuring out, me going into the legal space, what type of lawyer I want to be. And I always say, I want to be a corporate lawyer,
Yeah.
or a civil lawyer that, will see me in courtrooms and arguing on behalf, little Johnny Cochran,
Yeah.
feel,
Little Johnny
to
here and
it.
there. I know it.
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't honestly until and I was actually there in Detroit. And I actually haven't told this story, but I was sharing it with someone recently, and I'm like, I really need to talk about this more. But my grandfather in Detroit was involved in a motorcycle accident,
Mhm.
and he was hit by a semi truck, 18-wheeler semi truck, and he had to have his leg amputated.
Oh.
So that's when I was then introduced to the type of law that I'm currently practicing, which is personal injury law.
Yeah.
And I figured that there was, the lawyers that's defense attorneys or the prosecutor, and I couldn't do prosecutorial work. Like I was one of those, minds that wanted to go into the law, but I said and committed to myself, like, I cannot do defense work and I cannot do prosecutorial work unless it's like Mom Dukes to somebody on death row and I gotta, pull out the law books. But I just didn't want to do those type of that type of law. And when I saw that there was a type of law that's, focused on injuries, I said,
Yeah.
that's something that I want to be in, because he was really in a position where he got the very short end of the stick. And I
Mhm.
realized that in so many times and so often, our people, they don't have the resources to really know how to pursue things, how to, get justice for things. When stuff
Yeah.
happens to them, they don't know who to turn to. They don't know how to adequately get the representation. So I really wanted to be the people's lawyer. And I, applied to law school, which isn't an easy process, but I
No.
always say to do it, to do it. I know we're going to get into it, but it's so important to do it if you're planning to do it. And obviously in the state that the country is in, we need more lawyers, we need more people to apply
Well,
and
yeah.
to go to law school that looks like us and that can represent
Mhm.
us, because we're under attack, our constitution is under attack. And I can go on and on, but I went to law school, I went to Howard Law, which breeds social justice, breed HBCU, Black Excellence,
Okay.
BHU.
Okay.
So that alone kind of introduced me to just the giants of the legal space, right? We got Thurgood Marshall, we got Pauli Murray, we got
Woo.
Charles Hampton Houston. Like the list goes on and on. But that then showed me that, again, I can be a part of something that's bigger than just myself. And I really
Absolutely.
wanted to be the people's lawyer. Like I wanted to be this young Black face that like the people can turn to and rely on to get,
Absolutely.
really good strategic representation. And
I
and
love
yeah,
that.
so that's why I'm here.
I love it. You carry such a strong sense of pride for our people, for being black, for being a black man and exploring and taking paths that most people are scared to take, and that quite frankly we're really ignorant when it comes to, especially law and politics. What about corporate law? Like what in the moment of corporate law made you say, you know what, I gotta go back. I gotta follow what I know is true in my heart, and that's I have to be a civil attorney. What about corporate law said this ain't that?
So that's a great question, because I did it for way longer than I expected to do it. So
Yeah.
I went to law school, and I fortunately did really well. I graduated top of my class, and
You
I feel
graduated
like,
cum laude, correct?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
I did. So when you are in that position and you're in law school, and I mean, luckily Howard, we breed some of the most, brilliant Black attorneys,
You do?
compared to other Ivy League schools. And because I had the opportunity to, graduate top of my class, I had the opportunity to go to the number one law firm in the world, and practice corporate law, private equity law. A lot of people aren't familiar or versed with private equity, but it is a space where people are investing billions of dollars to develop and accumulate portfolio companies, and have returns on investments. And it's obviously taking over a lot of spaces right now, but
Yeah.
that's another conversation. I was able to do that at the highest level, and that was cool at the moment and in the time. It's very, very demanding. It's something that a lot of us don't necessarily make it in, because it does take everything out of you in order to do that type of practice. Um, but as I was there, and I felt like I was becoming more and more of a paper pusher as it related to making
Mhm.
other people that typically didn't look like us. It was really cool because I was able to work on a few Robert Smith deals through Vista, Equity Partners, and that kind of was fulfilling. Like, okay, at least I'm kind of doing it for a Black man in the fund,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's usually very white.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that, we were kind of just being, stagnant and pushing paper and making other people wealthy and rich,
Yeah.
when I could see out the window my people struggling, and seeing, the literacy, dropping, and the struggles after COVID, and just so many things that I
Yeah.
figured I needed to return to what I knew, was the need. And that's kind of what made me push myself to just doing it. And I had been holding off for a long time. I've been saying, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it next year. And then I woke up and it's like 5, 6 years later, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, wait, I need to actually do this now.
Yeah.
So I got to that point where I'm like, I have to just do it. And that's what I did.
And then comes Is it the legal sniper comes after that, and then
The legal
McCloud Law
sniper was
Sniper?
birthed from that. The legal sniper was
Ah,
birthed from that. Yeah. So I actually launched the legal sniper top of 2025. I said, I'm like, okay, top of 25, I'm going to, push the branding of the legal sniper where I'm bringing, precise precision strategy, big law strategy to, the everyday person, the everyday people, in whichever way, form, and fashion that they needed. So that's when the legal sniper was born. That was when I wanted to become and also breed weapons
yeah.
that could pretty much disrupt and destruct these other spaces.
I know. Let's talk about what just so far because let's be very clear. How long have you been practicing? About 4 years.
6,
6. All right.
almost 6 years. Yeah.
Close. Okay. So you've been practicing for 6 years. Just based on what you've seen, what do you think is so intimidating about the legal system that kind of that tends to scare Black people off and keep us ignorant when we get in these spaces?
Ah man, okay. So I don't know if it's one particular thing. I think it's, how media
Yeah.
portrays, it. I think how media glamorizes the law could be one thing, right? We
Yeah.
have the Olivia Popes, we have the Suits, we have,
Yeah.
How to Get Away with Murder. So it's like
Yeah.
all those things are in the media, that we're seeing on television and watching through, cinematic shows. But then we're also seeing the news where, there's lawyers that's having to, assess or analyze certain things that maybe the president is doing or maybe Congress is doing. But then you're
Absolutely.
also hearing, down the street, 36th district, such and such is being prosecuted
Woo.
or, such and such has been, having to have a defense. So I don't necessarily know if there's one particular thing that kind of helps or I think keeps us from, progressing in these spaces when we enter it or keeps us from entering it. I just think it's the different portrayals, but then also maybe the lack of representation, like things like this,
Yes.
to kind of reach the masses of the people who needs to, hear it.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think I asked you that question and I wanted to know what you thought. And then I thought to myself and I said, well, look at how the legal system has treated us over these years. Of course, we're going to be ignorant when the goalpost constantly changes when we're entering these spaces or when the rules are constantly being changed just to accommodate other people and keep us
For
out.
sure.
So you know what? That's a very good point. I don't think there's just one thing at all either.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think to that point too, and I'll say this really quickly, like a lot of people don't realize or know that there's all these barriers that's really put in
yeah,
place to keep us from entering into this space. You think about, what, being a barrister or being, a doctor of jurisprudence or whatever, the titles are now. These things didn't even have, schooling at one point. This was a very practical space. If you
yeah,
wanted to be a doctor, your family was a doctor, you would train and learn how to be a
yeah,
doctor. If you wanted to be a lawyer, you would train and work as an apprentice to become a lawyer.
yeah,
But in order to, keep things regulated, but also keep things kind of exclusive, you then had the LSAT, right? Which is one of the most ridiculous hard tests that you have to prepare for in order to get into law school. Then you have to go through law school. Law school ain't no joke. It's really hard. It's probably one of the
yeah.
most trying times that I feel like I've ever had to experience in life. And then you got the bar. And when I
Ah,
tell you the bar is a whole different level, and shout out to everybody who's preparing or maybe even just have passed the bar just last month. But it's not an easy feat at all. So there are all barriers though put in place to kind of keep things exclusive.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about because we've been back twice now to the process of becoming an attorney or lawyer. So how does it go? So you get your bachelor's in criminal. Is it criminal justice that you would get it in?
Whatever you want, whatever you
Okay.
want. You can get your bachelor's in whatever you want. Underwater basket weaving, honestly.
What?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, so you get your bachelor's and then walk me through the process. What is it like? And then tell us a little bit about like how do you prepare for it and what were kind of some of your biggest obstacles going through the LSAT and the bar?
Yeah, so once you get your bachelor's degree, again, you can decide to go to law school. In order to be admitted into law school, you're not only required to apply, but you're also required to sit for an examination, which is called the LSAT. So you've probably heard of the LSAT if you've ever thought or been interested in the law, but it covers a range of different topics, logical reasoning, reading comprehension, like a lot of different things that it covers But it's not an easy exam. Like it's an exam that's pretty strategic in a lot of ways, a lot of practice that's involved in preparing to take it. But it's really, really detrimental to not only be admitted to law school, but then which law school you're going to, particularly, you know, if you're getting certain merit scholarships or anything to monetize, like you really want to do well on this exam. And then you're admitted into law school. Once you're admitted to law school, you have a few years of treacherous training to become a lawyer, but it's so necessary and required because I think a lot of people do lean in on our guidance, and obviously, you know, they want to trust us, right? We're the legal experts. We're the
Yeah.
ones that's interpreting and also shepherding them through whichever process or situation that they're experiencing in the moments. So I was very grateful for law school, but it was a very trying and difficult
Yeah.
time. Once you do graduate with your law degree, right, you then have that JD. You're now, you know, a doctor of jurisprudence, or you have that doctorate level degree. You then have to sit for the bar. Now, when you sit for the bar, you same thing, kind of similar to LSAT. You have to go through almost every single subject that you've learned throughout your law school career, and it's random, right? You don't know what you're being tested on, how you're being tested on it. You're
Mhm.
just knowing that you have to sit for this exam that covers these topics, and you have to prepare for everything just to make sure that you can cover what's on there. So
Yeah.
you sit for the bar in the particular jurisdiction that you're wanting to practice in, and once you receive you know, a passing score, you're able to practice in that state. And if you take a uniform bar exam, you're able to practice in not only that state, but maybe other states that you can waive into as well.
Thank you for that, because that was going to be my next question. I see some people say they take the bar and then they're able to practice in multiple states, but you say you can take
Yeah,
the uniform version and then you can practice in multiple states.
that's
Do
right.
you, when you take the uniform version, do you get to select which states you want to be able to practice in, or does it give you a free range once you pass it?
Yeah, so it's basically of based on that certain state. Like
Mhm.
certain states are uniform states, other states are
Uh,
state. Like Michigan, I feel like they may have just changed. I can't remember, but Michigan for a long time used to be a state bar exam. So even though I took a uniform bar, say for example here in Illinois or even DC, I can't necessarily practice in Michigan without retaking the bar because it's a state bar exam. I think
gotcha.
they may have recently just transferred to UBE though, so that's a uniform state now, where maybe then you can select that state if you want to waive in or practice in that state. But there's a lot of other ones that's not uniform at all. Like California, one of the hardest, more difficult bars.
Yeah.
That's a state exam. You have to take the actual California bar to practice there. Same with Florida, same with Texas, same with Georgia. So it's like a few different states that you can't just select.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Give me one. I'm sorry, you guys. I am a mom first, so give me 2 seconds. I just have to find out where my child is blowing my phone. Hi, babe. I'm in the middle of a show. Did you need something? Oh, I love you too, babe. I'm gonna call you after my show's over, okay? I, all right. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Love that. The duty that never ends.
It never does. My goodness. And you know what? I feel so bad because he was blowing it up, and I'm like, I'm trying to do it. Okay. My
No, it's
goodness.
okay.
I know he's in safe hands where he at, so I don't know why he's going. But you know what? That's just God little ways of blessing you and just giving you little
That's the
reminders.
reminder. Exactly.
Just a little reminder. So I'm glad. Thank you. Okay. So let's get into, so first of all, we're going to go back because at this point you've already graduated, you've passed the bar, but let's get back into a big part of who you are, or a part of who you are that I know has, I'm sure, profoundly impacted your career is joining the fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi. Can you tell me a little bit, we don't have to get too much into it, but I do have a follow-up question about it, but tell me a little bit about that process. I know you can't tell me too much, but tell me a little bit about that process, and how do you think that changed you coming out of it?
I think the process was an unforgettable one, definitely
Yeah.
very memorable. Um, I think if I had to think about what it instilled in me overall, one, it just showed me, that anything is possible. Like it was able to show me that, things that I didn't even know existed inside of me helped me persevere through many difficult situations. But I will say it also just I won't say necessarily forced, but it definitely it sharpened my leadership abilities. I think it allowed me many opportunities to be a leader in the space. It allowed me to connect with so many amazing people
Yeah.
that's done so many amazing things that not only I'm doing or wanting to do, but it showed me that it's possible to be done even before being sure. So yeah, it really just fine-tuned all my leadership abilities and skills, and it just opened up a whirlwind of lifelong brotherhood amongst, many, 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 many individuals, both sororities and fraternities. Like I feel like we all have a very cohesive bond, no
Yeah,
matter what.
I like that. I think that more, or maybe I'm just more aware of it now, but I see more and more every day that celebrities and just regular everyday people, influencers, are just more vocal about being in their fraternities and their sororities. And I'm finding, I'm like, oh my God, like you guys really know each other. You guys use those connections that you built to, to further yourself or really just find lifelong friends. I think contrary to a lot of non-Greek people, they just believe that, oh, you just want to wear the letters, it's just for the hype and the clout. But it's like, this is something that really advances people in their careers. These are friends. These become brothers. People find their soulmates there. What do you have to say to the people on the outside who think that you guys just do it for the clout?
It's something to do. Honestly, I can't lie. It's definitely some t-shirt wearers out there that, do it for the shimmy,
Yeah.
do it to, stroll at the parties.
Yeah.
Uh, so so I can't say that, they are completely wrong. But no, I think overall though, a lot of us join the organization to really be a part of something again, meaningful, impactful, bigger
Yeah.
than our individual selves. I think a lot of good come out of the D9 overall, not just my
Yeah.
fraternity.
Absolutely.
I think the Divine Nine, especially when we come together. You think about any of the movements historically that we've had to see as a people. Usually, if not all, we're all in the front lines of that. So I think that's inspiring. I think that's impactful. I think a lot of us do it for that. And then obviously, as we are building, ourselves, we're building the next generation. I think
Yeah.
that is also important for a lot of us to be that representation so that we can put on not only for our sororities and fraternities, but for the next generations that's coming behind us, that's showing like, yeah, this is what we do and we take pride in it. And, we show up and show out. So it's a lot of fun too, but it's a
It
lot of
is.
work.
It looked fun. It looked
Yeah,
hella fun.
yeah,
It looked real fun.
yeah. I've
Um,
had some times.
I, oh, I believe you. I'm gonna have to believe you on that too, because I seen some things, and then they look fun.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about. We're gonna go back to you passing the bar and getting into your career. I know that the legal field can be taxing and highly competitive, but what are some of the biggest personal and professional challenges you face, and how did you overcome them?
Man, so I'd say the biggest challenge was really, especially as like in my very like early junior associate years, it's an adjustment. When you talk about like your professional career, you kind of coming into something that's meaningful, right? Like it's life
Yeah.
changing for a lot of people, but you also want to come in, you want to come in strong, you want to leave great impressions, you want to put on for those who's coming behind us. But it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment to be on all the time. It's an adjustment to
Ooh.
kind of be in the situation, especially for again me, who was in big law, right? Like I came out and started immediately in big law at the number one top law firm in the world, so in private equity. So um it was a struggle. I didn't feel like my life was my own for a long time.
Yeah.
I for sure went through a lot of that time full of anxiety, and
Oh.
just not knowing, what was coming next, or not knowing if I was necessarily doing or being my best. Like it was a lot of things that kind of, would live on in your mind, and it just wouldn't shut off. So, there was times, especially during the pandemic, that was already a taxing time.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
having to start and do that during the pandemic, it was times I wasn't even making it to bed. Like I was legit at my laptop working at my computer for dang near the entire day, because it's a huge learning curve, especially,
Yeah.
coming into a space and not ever being a part of, that type of space, having to learn, certain things with private equity, or learn what certain terms are. And luckily I had a business background, so some of it translated, but
Yeah.
it was still a ton of things that I just didn't know. So you're spending not only a lot of time doing the work, but you're having to take a lot of time spinning your
Yeah.
wheels to figure out like
Yeah.
what, so now you're spending double time, if not triple, to the point where you're just finding yourself taking a nap, next to your computer, and waking up to do it all the next day.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a big challenge of mine. It was a hurdle that not many people get over. So my younger, associate days, junior associate days, it was challenging. It was a hard space to be in, and I'm grateful to have made it through that time. But it was for sure a taxing time on me.
I agree. I want to ask this. How do you, I know you said you got through it, but how do you navigate that? How do you navigate having that anxiety build up? How do you navigate walking into the space and it's like, well, I know a little bit of something, but I don't know a lot of this. How does that work?
I almost said something really, really bad,
What?
and I'm so glad I didn't say it.
No, go
But
ahead. No, feel free.
no, no, it took a lot. It took a lot of support. Luckily,
I'm about to say
uh,
drugs.
yes, lots and lots of. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs. Uh, no, but no, I think for a lot of people that would be the answer. I was blessed to not have to go that far, but um, yeah, luckily you have the support of many others.
Yeah.
A lot of us were going through a lot of it together, so um, that helped. Not feeling like you were in it alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I have a few friends of mine who we would sometimes just have like work days together, where we would just, post up and kind of go through our work together,
Yeah.
so that we're not necessarily feeling, or even if we're up to 2, 3 in the morning, like we're at
Yeah.
least up to 2, 3 in the morning
With
together.
somebody else.
Yeah, with someone else. And that honestly was the same, type of mentality that I feel um, we had going through law school, right? Studying for exams, getting prepared for the bar. Like it's an iron sharpens iron mentality
Ooh,
sometimes. I
yeah.
do think that the legal space is just trivial in the fact that, it's all about the numbers, it's all about the school,
Yeah.
it's all about, so it's very competitive in its nature by itself. But I think when you are at the top and you can collaborate, it helps, get through those certain challenging moments, because you are doing it collaboration with someone else, and you're
Yeah.
not necessarily up and at it alone. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's how I navigated it. I for sure prioritized my mental. Like I went to the gym, when
Yeah.
I needed to. I made sure I was eating when I needed to. There's many times where I didn't, I'll forget, or, the day will pass and I'm now only eating, at 10 o'clock at night. So, you had to prioritize and schedule for things just to make sure that it was done. But um, I had an amazing partner who was able to be there with me during a lot of those challenging moments, and help me, you know, push through it. So it's all about the perseverance. It's all about the people that you lean on, the tribes that you kind of surround yourself with. And
Absolutely.
I think throughout life, regardless, like I think that's the same, formula to
Yeah.
get through those challenging moments.
Yeah. I think so too. Anything you go through, you want to make sure you have good people around you that support you and people that are just as smart as you, if not smarter, so that you can learn something. I
Absolutely.
definitely agree. I like that.
Absolutely.
Was it some drugs? Did you see some drugs?
I've seen a lot of them. I ain't gonna lie. But that was even prior to, those challenges. But
Do be on
yeah.
that booger sugar. I knew it. I heard it. I heard they was on
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Okay,
You're right.
we got some questions from the audience,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get into a good little true or false about you before we head out, Demetrius.
All right.
Okay, so Call Me Teen asks, can the National Guard arrest citizens in DC?
So, yes.
Uh,
So okay, obviously there's all of the talk or whatever about Trump deploying the National Guard for
yeah,
DC, which I lived in DC. I didn't necessarily feel unsafe in DC.
Mhm.
I know things have gotten a lot better from the many years that I was, in DC ago. Um, but he does have the right and the ability to deploy the National Guard to correct any issue that um, he is saying needs to be corrected. And they can for sure act or serve as, law enforcement in that capacity. I mean, a lot of people don't realize like there's even a thing called citizens arrest
Yeah, it
that can
is.
happen, So, I mean, with the National Guard deployment, and the thing about DC is DC, has such a history with having to work with federal forces
Yeah.
beyond, because it's just such a unique placed space,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not
Yeah, it
like,
is.
him deploying the National Guard in Detroit because, that's not something that happens typically where federal agents or National Guard type spaces would be deployed unless shit is on fire everywhere and we need some reinforcement. But
Yeah.
which has happened. Obviously, we've seen historically that has happened. But yeah, if
Yeah.
he was to deploy as he's doing the National Guard, yes, they can. They can do.
Jesus. All right. I'm praying for DC. I hope y'all be all right down there. Um. So okay, K underscore XX at what is the difference between lawyer and attorney?
Honestly, so to be a practicing attorney, you have to pass the bar,
Okay.
right? So that's where you get that Esquire, the ESQ. Like
Right.
that's
Okay.
that's that's when you've passed the bar and you're a practicing attorney.
Okay.
Now, some can consider themselves a lawyer, right, but not a practicing attorney when they go to law school and receive their JD, right? So that's the JD on the back of the name
Okay.
after they get their doctorate level degree.
Okay.
It's pretty much like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
one's
attorney.
barred basically to practice, the other one's has the degree and the education level.
Oh. So does a lawyer have to pass the bar or they just have the degree?
No, you don't have to be like you don't have to necessarily take the bar after you like go to law school and get your degree. There's many people who are out here that's not necessarily practicing attorneys or lawyers in the way where they're practicing. Some people graduate, law school and go into politics or go
Yeah.
into
Okay. Good
business
point.
or whatever. They don't necessarily all practice in
Oh.
any particular jurisdiction.
I like that. That was a good question. I thought they were actually interchangeable, but I'm glad you clarified that because they're
Yeah.
typically not.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, most times it is. I say lawyer
Okay.
and attorney, it really isn't the difference. But if I were to say like there is a difference, that would be the difference.
Gotcha. Okay. We got one more, and I'm the grind says, what are the basic, what are the basic do's and don't for CPL owners?
Mm. Don't lie about it. I say if you have a CPO and you are carrying your firearm and you are interacting with anyone police enforcement wise, just be upfront.
Yeah.
Like if you have it on you, if you have it in a car, if you have it anywhere, it can be like they are already they have the discretion to do a lot of things. And
Yeah.
and I
They
would
do.
say you do want to be upfront. You don't want to lie about it. You do want to make sure it's visible. You do want to get in front of it.
Yeah.
Um, if you are having that, you don't want to carry it when you've been drinking. You don't want to have it really when you are not in the safest space. I mean, you want to have
Absolutely.
it when you're not in the safest space, but not if you're not in the best mindset,
Yeah.
because that can turn into some other things. But
Yeah. And then they might
yeah.
need to call you. Do they call you for that? No, your personal injury. They can't call you,
Yeah, I
but they
was
can
gonna
call
say,
your
well,
friends.
you know what though? I'll tell you when you can call me.
When can they call you?
So, there's a lot I know, not just there, but overall everywhere.
Okay.
Sometimes there's like shootings that happen, right? In your
Yeah.
apartment complex, like a shooting could happen.
Hmm.
If you're at the strip club or nightclub, a shooting could happen, particularly. Maybe even with the bouncers or the security guards of
They can
the
call you.
said establishment. You can call me for
Oh, okay. When y'all getting jumped in the clubs, because y'all know y'all love getting jumped. Call
that.
them. Y'all love
Y'all like
getting
shooting
jumped.
them up too. But
Yeah, y'all definitely love shooting them up. All right, so we got a good, before we wrap it up, we got a good true or false for you. So we got some questions that you need to, Attorney McCloud, answer and tell us if it's true or false, okay?
All right, I'm ready.
All right. True or false? You can sue your ex for wasting your time.
Hmm.
Now I know some people I
Hmm.
need to sue if you go tell me something.
It depends on what happened during that time. No, I'll say false. Yeah, not just for wasting your time.
What can I
It,
sue him
it
for though?
wasn't. Well, you could sue them if you were injured in any way, if you've lost
Okay.
out on certain opportunities,
Lost wages.
maybe
Okay.
yeah, if you maybe relied on some promises that didn't necessarily happen, maybe there could be a claim there. It's all facts and circumstances.
Okay. I like that. So y'all can still probably sue him. Not
Just hit
just
me
the
up. We'll talk about it.
there you go. That consultation I like that. We're gonna talk about that too. Okay. Even if you have no insurance, you can still sue and possibly win big. True or false?
True.
Oh, okay. All right. So all y'all riding dirty on 94.
Yeah, you can, and this I actually have a client right now who this happened to, but like you can absolutely still have a claim if your insurance lapsed when you got into an accident, if you didn't have insurance when you were in an accident, as long as you didn't cause the accident, you can still
Oh,
sue the other person's insurance who did cause the accident, although you should be driving with insurance.
absolutely. We should all be doing the right thing, people. Okay.
Yes. Michigan insurance
Um,
outrageous though, so I get
you would never like, man,
it.
it's crazy. That don't make no
I get
sense.
it.
I see why they, not that I condone it, but I see why people be driving illegal. It just don't make
Yeah,
no
you
sense.
about to pay more in insurance than your car's worth at that point.
That's
It's
what
like
that, now that is
if you got to
crazy.
think about it, it's like I could see someone making that decision, but
Literally. And
don't.
the ticket don't even be, the ticket be cheap. The ticket cheaper than man, I take the ticket and just call it. I feel it. Okay, so this one I really wanted to know. I was trying to figure out if you needed to know this, but I couldn't find it. So, true or false? You know the entire Greek alphabet.
True.
Ah, can you tell it? Can you say it for us?
Yeah. You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, xi, chi. I don't make it.
I didn't know. Okay, so quick question: did you learn it when you pledged, or did you like learn it afterwards?
There's no need for you to know the Greek alphabet if you didn't pledge. I would just be real. It's just not a reason why you would need to know the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
Alphabet, like not at all. No.
I like that. I like that. I learned it. I don't know why I learned it. I learned it some years ago. I think I got bored one
I mean,
time.
it's cool to know. It's
It
cool to say
is.
you
It
have,
is. It's really cool.
but there's no reason why I would be out here saying alpha, beta, kappa. Like it's just not
All right. Our last short pause. You can sue for emotional distress if your favorite team loses.
false.
Awesome. Okay. And the Lions was ass one year. I'm just saying. I feel like.
You can sue for emotional distress in a lot of situations though, but not
Uh,
because they lose. You also got to figure out who you suing. That's what we got to talk about. Who do we sue in these situations?
whoever dropped the ball.
Who got who got the money is
Yeah.
what you got to. That's the real. Who got the money?
We got to go after the team.
We
We
got
got
to
to go
go
after the
with the money.
organization.
Follow the money.
There you go. I like
We're
that.
gonna we're gonna be where the money resides.
I like that. Okay, so Attorney McCloud, I have enjoyed having you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that you came on to chat with us today. We got to go out the same way we came in. So you got to tell the people where they can find you and how they can reach out to you if they need your services. And you got to give us something you're grateful for.
Absolutely. Okay, so you can follow my Instagram. My personal Instagram is Attorney McCloud. That's Attorney McCloud, McCloud. And then our firm's page is the_legal sniper. That's for the legal snipers that's out here unleash your weapon. You can also visit our website at thelegalsniper.com or themcloudfirm.com. You can find our numbers to contact us if you would like to call to schedule a consultation. And then again, I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for the conversation, to be, having this conversation in the space that we're having it in, I think is important.
Absolutely.
Again, if you are interested in going to law school, if you don't necessarily know where to start or what to do, you can actually follow one of the organizations that I'm highly involved in, the Law School Mentor, where we shepherd and kind of give tips and tricks on how to pursue, your legal dreams. But yeah, no, I say do it if you are, because we are in need of more of us. It's less
Yes,
than 5% of Black
it
legal
is.
representation out here in the world. So we really want to continue to do all that we can to increase those numbers. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to thank all of our beautiful audience members. I see everybody in there. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight for this wonderful conversation. I have to say another very, very big thank you to our special guest tonight, Attorney McCloud, for joining us and sharing his expertise and his wisdom with us. I'm going to go out the same way I came in, you guys. I would like to say that I'm probably grateful tonight just from the conversation. I love a good conversation. I love a good conversation rooted in talking about our culture, our history, where we're going, and sitting and talking with fellow Black experts in their field. So that ain't never gonna not warm my heart and make me happy. So that's what I really am grateful for tonight. As always, you guys, my name is Cheryl. Oh well, I'll be back next Thursday. Why am I lying, bro? I'll be back next Tuesday. I don't even know what's wrong. My mind is tripping. I will be back next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on Instagram Live for a brand new episode of Let's Talk the Show. So make sure you guys follow us and keep up so that you can see another great episode next Tuesday. And that's all I got for you guys tonight. My name is Cheryl Carter, y'all. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, and this ain't a podcast. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.